for coming in late.
No problem.
Yeah, first things first. Tell us a bit about on your background, your political life also, from where you come from. We really appreciate that.
Okay. Very well. Thank you so much, viewers, and thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure to share something that can be of benefit and an inspiration to another leader, another lady, a woman, girls, to just tell them that women are in this equation and they can make it. Maybe to start by telling about myself, Senator Veronica Maina. I'm nominated by the UDA, and I remain eternally grateful to the party leader, our president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, together with Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, for the opportunity they have bestowed upon me to be able to serve as a nominated senator and to represent the women agenda and the women factor in the Senate, and even beyond that, to represent the party in many matters of national importance, matters that can continually affirm the implementation of the plan. That is the promise that the government had to the people of Kenya when we formed the UDA Party and we began to roll out membership, recruit members, and even become a giant party from a very small party. But on my part, I'm married. I have 3 children. Maybe it's nice to say that, so that we know that politicians are real people sometimes. Sometimes people don't think politicians are people who are going through ordinary life like every other person. By profession, I'm a lawyer. I've been a litigation lawyer for many years with very special interests. I've had interests in blue economy. I practiced a lot in Mombasa for over 12 years when I first graduated from college. So I had an opportunity to I think during the Kenya Kwanza government, we will have an opportunity now for our nation to own that happens along the sea. We can also become beneficiaries as Kenyans. And so I'm a lawyer. My highest qualification is public international law at a master's level from University of London. And I have also had a diploma from San Remo, Italy. I've had a diploma from Kenya School of Law. And I'm a graduate of the University of Nairobi. You know, University of Nairobi is the University of Nairobi. It's always was a prestigious institution, and I hope they continue being of that repute. So that I would say is my background. And then fast forward, maybe in around 2015, I was the Secretary General of a small party that was known as Jubilee Alliance Party. Now, that Jubilee Alliance Party was formulated by the previous regime between the president and the deputy president to be a vehicle for merger of political parties. So I had the honor and the privilege to be the Secretary General then that brought together about 12 political parties. And for the first time in the Republic of Kenya, the Jubilee Alliance Party merged political parties, 12 of them, because there was a vision to grow a big political party that now became the JP. It was merged. It became a giant political party, which became the vehicle for the second term for the president then and the deputy president. And this vehicle brought together TNA and URP were the largest political parties that formed the big equation in the Jubilee Party. So that is the history even of UDA, because when you come, you move 2 years, 3 years later, the same formulation that was in TNA and URP are the ones that combined to become Jubilee Party. And then when there was trouble in Jubilee Party and handshake manenos did not really raise a very good taste in people's mouths, the deputy president decided then, the deputy president, who is now our president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, then decided to initiate or be a founder, and together with friends and politicians from different regions, now formulate the current UDA Party. So the UDA Party initially was born out of that a disaffection, a bit of dissatisfaction with how Jubilee Party was conducting its affairs, because Jubilee Party went to a point where it locked out its members, they couldn't give opinions, they were challenged and very conflicted if they voted independently in Parliament. And members were, it was a very difficult experience. You remember, like the then Senator Kithure Kindiki, current CS, was, you remember, he was a deputy speaker and he was thrown out of that seat. The leader of majority, then, who is our current CS for transport, CS Murkomen, was also removed from his seat as majority leader. We also had the current governor of Nakuru, Susan Kihika, being chucked out of her seat. So with so many happenings going on in the Jubilee Party then, there was then need to find a vehicle that members who were dissatisfied in Jubilee Party could then find a vehicle to push them towards the current 2020, the current regime that was the elections or the general elections that were that were scheduled for 2022. So there was preparation towards that. So I came in now, courtesy of request from our president and members of that party from our region, parliamentarians from our region and other regions. There was a proposition that I could be the Secretary General of the UDA Party. Again, UDA Party was a small formulation of a political party that was revamped to become the UDA Party. And we began with 53,000 members and now built that membership to over 8.5 million members. How we did that? A big thanks to the teamwork that was there. Teamwork is something we must underline even today at the UDA Party, because if it was not for the goodwill of the very many members of Parliament, coordinators, well-wishers, promoters, friends, people who did not have a single coin from the UDA, putting in their resources, putting in their time, putting in their dedication, believing in the cause that was pushed very hard by our president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto then, together with the many parliamentarians who were around him, it would not have been possible to build the UDA Party. But the goodwill, the one lesson I learned is that goodwill can drive you higher than money can. I mean, it will take you further than the distance money can walk, because when you have goodwill with the people, they give you their genuine support from the bottom of their hearts. They don't hold back anything. And the initial promoters of UDA and supporters of UDA, the county coordinators, constituency coordinators, ward coordinators, up to the polling center coordinators, and together with the teams, mobilizers who worked for UDA, and later even agents, county chief agents, constituency chief agents at ward level, chief agent at polling center, agents at polling center level. It took a lot of goodwill, and I cannot forget the many things that many people did in order to make UDA a resounding success, and eventually become a success and had reached a certain point. There was also now need to coalesce with other political parties that were like-minded and had the same vision. And that is where the name Kenya Kwanza came in. It meant that the nation first. So you find parties that came from different regions, from coasts, to face the Azimio coalition. Awesome. That is the basic history in a nutshell.
Awesome. About the dissatisfaction of the previous regime for you to form the UDA as it is now. Would you kindly describe the wheelbarrow, the slogan, the wheelbarrow, the colors, why?
The slogan "Kazi ni Kazi." You see, the UDA party was not a party that was built on, I'm avoiding to use the word dynastical movement. It was not built from the royalty. UDA party is a vision of the people. In fact, what our president did was to capture the aspiration of the people, because people were going through a hard time because of the economics that were there at that time, and they still pertain to some extent, though a lot of mitigation has been done right now by the Kenya Kwanza government, and I believe the fruits will continue to be enjoyed by Kenyans. It was a vehicle for the ordinary mwananchi, and it still is a vehicle for the ordinary mwananchi. If there is the vehicle that is going to propel mwananchi to a different growth in the Republic of Kenya, I believe this is it. And if there is any pain that our citizens are feeling before the full adjustment of this economy, they should know it's just a seed being laid in the ground. And in due course, because even when you're building a house, there is a way you must save a coin or two to make sure you must cut back on some budgets to make sure that you are able to then build the vision that you're looking for. So the reason why Kazi ni Kazi that slogan was coined was because it captured the fact that there was the youth bulge that needed opportunities to earn. Some people still continue to do very humble jobs. Some may be in enterprise, some may be in offices, some may be in farms, some may be in all manner of engagements like fishing, and other economic activities like mining. And we needed to give dignity, and we need to give dignity to every person, whatever it is they are doing. If they can just value that, concentrate on that, government infrastructure, then we were so sure that when we concentrate on doing what we ought to do consistently and in the best way possible, we would eventually grow the economy, and that the economy would not be grown by high powers coming from somewhere like or waiting for a donation somewhere. It would mean the wide base of the people down here, the mama boga, the pastoralists. If everybody was to do their task very well and get the right, then we were sure that that wide base would then lift the economy, because it is easier to build. You know, the bottom up means it comes from down. Okay? Top down would mean when you have a donor, one donor is the only one with money, or one person is the only one, or 10 persons are the only people with money. Then it's trickling down. That was the formulation change in terms of policy and in terms of even government focus. Support the farmer who is generating 2 liters of milk to generate 6. How do you support the tea farmer who is kgs of tea to make it 200 kgs? And that then brings now for the young people the digital superhighway, which then opens the whole world for people to see what happens beyond. Use your air ticket to go to the US. Can you tap into an opportunity which is somewhere else in Europe, in Middle East, in other the desks that we are seated on?
Awesome. Before I give it to key arms of UDA Party, that is the Women Caucus. Why does it matter?
I would say this, inclusion in government is everything. If you're looking at building peace and development, those key, peace and development, inclusion is key and it's unavoidable. Now, inclusion means no one feels ignored, and if you can't have your way, you must be part of a conversation that affects your water, your economy, affects your education, because you are part of that community. And we need to understand, first of all, slightly over 50% of the population. Now, you go to a county like, say, Kiambu, or a county like work in the farms, you'll find that over 70% of the people who could be doing that work in those farms is women. You are coming up with a policy of, say, agriculture, and you have the farm who understands what happens in that farm, method of planting, and you have left them in that is going to impact on the seed they are going to plant. The best placed person to tell you that hybrid seed you have brought us here does not work because it's attracting this or that, or there is a likelihood that you will be irrelevant. You will bring a policy that then you will lose for yourself the potential of all that group being a contributor to that part of economy, because you can bring a policy which is disconnected with people and then they are not interested. When you look at vulnerable groups, if you want to understand the conscience and the heart and the feel of a community, look at how they treat most vulnerable people. If, for instance, we say, oh, we can ignore this category, then you ask yourself, building plans. When a PWD is coming, say there is no lift. Even in the planning, you couldn't even factor in their views on what they think about that planning. Would involve them even in that planning, in the implementation matrix, because they are going to tell you we need a different way of going upstairs, which is different from what the majority of you are doing. So inclusion for me, if you're looking for holistic development, and then it has to be inclusive. You look at the youth, the energy that the youth have. I mean, you would really do yourself a disadvantage as a planner or as someone in governance who does not include such energy to be channeled the right way, because you can channel that energy to be destructive. Instead, you can harness that energy and cause it to build. Can you imagine, for instance, if a county decides they want to do a beautification process and they convince the youth that us as a county, we will have the seedling for the plants we want to see on this roadside, on the cabways. Then you convince the youth, if you can plant for me, if you can plant for us in this county, 10 plants, would you not have highways lined up with the plant you're looking for or with the tree? Doing that planting, and they continue to go do their work. If you convince the youth today that, say, the streets of Nairobi, streets like 70% are young people, if they are convinced that you don't drop the litter you are carrying in your hands in the communities they are in, so we can harness those energies, meaning inclusion is everything. And then if you leave them out of that equation, that is going to impact them in a way. So I think special interest groups is a must. Has spelled out the principles that should be guiding us in the right thinking when it comes to inclusion.
Thank you so much, Senator. And personally, I'd describe you largest party currently in Kenya. And the experiences, and how would you rank?
I must say, aborted to a very big extent. A strong political party that is aligned to development program. So the difference between the two is very clear. When we formed the UDA Party, it had structure. You know, sometimes I hear people giving like gossip saying, oh, I was denied a ticket by so and so work. It had structures, and the president left those structures about our president. When he knows you are capable of doing what he has assigned you for a fact, and he has confidence that you can perform, he will let you carry and push you and give you all the support you need. Was the fact that in UDA, organs could make a decision, and those decisions are binding and independent. And in fact, he was categorical and very clear. Hii chama ni or we won't be. Hatutaki Peter, tunataka Jane. Because if a political party has to succeed, our constitution is based on the constitution. If our constitution talks about voting by majority, giving you and deliver the principle enunciated by the constitution. And let me speak maybe also about like Article 10. Article 10, which talks about national values and deputy president, with especially those who are serving in public office. Please, please, please do your very best. And I'm not saying you're not doing your very best. I know many of you allow anyone who bungles your performance in those ministries. If someone is not delivering the mandate that they have been given, a party and a Jubilee Party. UDA Party is a party where you can give your viewpoint. Nobody gets intimidated by that. In fact, the president is very, and I think it is a good thing, and they should respectfully, not to destroy, object that help to build, because some people, yes, can criticize and they give a critique which they are not giving solutions to. But if you are giving a critique even to the party and you're saying, I don't the members, the minute you quieten members, like for instance, you make members, they can't even give their views, they are scared. They felt their views were ignored. They felt nobody cared whether they were in or they were out. And then there was UDA built its success based on the exact opposite. If there is a party, I have to love to do the right thing. It's the UDA Party. It was formulated because we didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't have much. Foot this bill. I remember the people who came to UDA, all the appliances that were needed in the office, the desk was donated, the seats were donated. You said, Jane, you didn't say me. I don't want to listen. Know yourself, and God knows you, and you are rewarded even before we speak out, because of building a vision. A party that even when we were really pushed to a corner in Bomas, we thoroughly restrained our pushed to the edge when we were at Bomas by our competitors. A party that was of being aggressive or causing confrontation to cause losses to the nation. And there was a lot of tension. So there was love, there was a expression of what people were thinking. And then there was a lot of hard work. Now, you know, when you choose to go for political competition, first, don't coerce people to support you by force. No, let them support your cause. So that if you're taking a seat, beating, causing violence to your competitors, that we frowned upon. One of the ways violent attacks on their competitors was to make sure we made violence very unattractive. If we catch you and we are very sure what you're doing, then we were sure you would go through the process. Is your style. And also respecting people. And then finally, on my SG's desk, what I would say is that on issues of gifts and money, because if you commercialize important things, like some candidates would say, oh, so and so said I give money, so I get this. That is so wrong. And that goes to the root of the unity of a nation. Because if for instance, you are not the one fully supported by people, and I have taken your money to give you a certificate, supported by 100 people, doesn't get the ticket, you will cause disharmony here in that specific electoral unit. Protesting. You must understand the equation of how that money goes. This to the commercial aspect. So what we did also at UDA, we were very strict, and anybody who was mentioned adversely with money, you can build a party on very solid foundation. You can build a party based on trust. If people feel like their trust for that entity into elections now, grassroots elections now, trust is going to be an important component. There must be such that any candidate participating in that grassroots election does not come with a perception that ni watu wa hata nikiingia hapo watanisaga. They must not have that kind of a perception. The teams must be built in such a way that it's a credible process. It's a building, it's in the architecture of what you do around the process, around.
Thank you so much for that. And one thing which with the various leaders that we've done is our president's passion in women leadership.
Yes. That confidence in his teams that when he appoints a woman leader, he gives them with candidates like governor candidates. Like we have 5 governor candidates in UDA for governor. Our aspirants, our women aspirants who are now governors, like Governor Susan, Governor Anwaiguru, Governor. That leadership is shown in him being so selfless that when our president starts to himself, his style is real hard work. Real hard work as in king in hours, He doesn't shy away from doing, through the journey, even through the hard journey of people. There are moments when decisions that are being done, so that, because if they are not made part of those decisions, then they will be left behind. Then the cabinet being taken by women, and women being given positions that are achieved. The quotas we are interested in, because for real, because we promised it to Kenyans, you promised it to during the term of this government, because this is going to be the term when people can deliver things that are incredible and unbelievable. They thought it was a joke. I believe this Kenya Kwanza regime is most growth in economy, in socio-economic matters. This is when we are going to experience, shows the principle he would want to set. Now, if you're set on God and the people, whatever you are doing is people-centered, or to be part of that economy, what do you want them to become? When you take your daughter to school and she's qualified to manage a site or push a site to the point where we can say, this road, I think it was the energy sector, we have pink energy, something, and we would encourage, even in sectors that are traditionally male-dominated, us continually tell our girls we can make it and don't get discouraged. Tell our girls we can make it and don't get discouraged.
Yes, and that,
yes,
and all of that. And Senator, you are one exemplar. Maybe women leaders who are a bit timid to vie for positions. God
has created you with unique abilities and capacities, and until nobody will be able to do it better than yourself, you must compete and succeed against yourself. So what you do is, first, you must win the mind game, because one of the games that really play around, put too much weight on them. Don't take them serious. You have capacities. Women have led their homes successfully. These doctors, they have raised engineers, and some of those women have never been to school. Now, you who's even gone through school, What will you tell our team? You'll be talking of your success, that you had 2 people or 50 or 100 people supporting you, and that will be the play in your ward. And trust God. Put it before God. Talk to your people. Don't shy away. The one thing you must not do. Women, in politics, unaambiwa, huyu ameharibika, sasa hawezi. And want to be nice, and they don't want to be told they are bad girls. Don't listen to those voices, because unless good people take over governance system, you continue talking about many formulation of 50-50. Watch here 30-70. Do you know, I believe maybe some of the corruption would have about relationships. They don't want to be told sijui pesa imepotea. Like, one thing I really dislike in here, I think it's one of the lowest traps that the enemy can put against a person. So go for it. You have the ability and you can do it. And we are here to support you, to encourage you, to tell you, let's fight this battle until we get there. In fact, you might find that the people we need to encourage more is the boy child. Because I think as the girls continue to move and get more territories of governance, many mountains, then we have the boy child or the men getting discouraged, which is also not right. I think men are almost natural leaders. Don't get intimidated by the women who are strong around you. Be a friend and an ambassador for women, your mothers, your daughters, your sisters. They always need that encouragement. And because women are very easy, it's very easy to discourage a woman. For men, don't speak a negative word. Just keep encouraging. Check, how can we help you? Is there anything I can support around you? Just by that. We have many ambassadors and win the women's heart. But we must say, many of us have succeeded because we've also had great people around us, actually brothers, who have supported and held our hands. I cannot even count the number of people, men actually, brothers actually, held my hand and say, why would you be discouraged by that? And it made all the difference. Just a simple word of social media. People are very discouraged. Just make it upon yourself to be an inspiration to somebody. And for people who post negative things on women, ukipata my people, don't give it energy or momentum. Post positive. Sidio? Post positive. I know the bad one trends faster, but post positive, that you support a woman in governance.
Sure, and I agree with the same sentiments. Before I pass it back to my colleague, I think I will not be speaking for myself if I say that you are a guru in politics.
Thank you. Thank you.
And looking at the conversation right now, we are looking towards building up a mega party.
Yes.
What's the importance of that, and why would you advocate for such a move by the UDA Party?
I think it's a good move. You know why? Because when I go to the US, I hope someday someone will invite me to see their parties, because they have very old, solid parties, or the Conservative Party. If you want to advance development, which is not changing with every successive regime, then you bring some stability around the political formulations. So that, like the ANC of South Africa, so that if you're pushing development, track development record, even the planning becomes better. The party, if for instance it has had 2 terms or 3 terms, the development matrix for that plan, it will have continuity in terms of making sure that the track record of that development is not broken every 5 cycle or 5 years. Because you see, we also have very interesting politics where, for instance, in the counties, when a governor, assume like a governor is a 1-term governor, comes and begins. After 5 years, a new governor comes in and decides this old project of this other governor was not my dream and my vision. So every 5 years, a new vision is being started. When is this vision going to grow? If you're building like a school you take not 5 years to build, effectively, it will take much more, maybe 20, 30 years. So if we have a blueprint from a political party, a mega political party, which has its own structures set, people are comfortable with it because they can speak and they can continually build. When it's time to change leadership can transition peacefully. Then you will have more tangible development in the country. It's a tenet of stabilizing democracy and stabilizing development. And that is why you see when sometimes we meet with the CPC party, say for instance China or the Conservative Party, then sometimes people misunderstand and say, oh, which party have you now gone to? What you're learning from them is their best, their best efforts in building development. How have they been able to cascade it until we go beyond? Within the political party, it transcends just the politics, but it moves to meeting development and the needs of the people. Because even 4 or 5 years ago, or were they happier with this political formula? That's in the US. Think 4 or 5 years ago, or were they happier with this political formula? That's in the US. Think about abortion. I am clear about what they think about, say, LGBTQ visions, okay? A very strong dispute resolution mechanism, and a system that affirms the member that if I'm not happy with something, I can express it, and a system that also gives members an opportunity to come, and a system where it's not new formulations. But then Kenyans must also stop something I've seen as a very interesting thing. Ni kama Wakenya wanapenda vitu mpya mpya. You see, they seem, in fact, I've had some telling me, but it looks like every 5 years we must expect a new political party. So when I try to convince them, no, it's not going to be new, we are farming up what we already have existing, they almost don't believe, because Kenyans also like, wakiona sasa, hey, it's like a new one, let's discover what is there. That can work for like many things. It can work for technology. When the phone, the what is this, iPhone, it moves to the next series, it goes, because like Kenya is Kenya. Are we going to find it as tomorrow? So that's the difference between fashion and between institutions to last. Kenya is Kenya. You don't wake up after 10 years to find it's not Kenya again. Something very drastic would have to happen, and it will not happen in Jesus' name. Because we are building around the country and the growth of the country, then we must also accept as political institutions that it's time to solidify and build the strong political institutions so that people can also now start to formulate the ideology for their parties. That's my thinking.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Very inspirational.
Thank you.
Say.
Thank you.
Let me take you back as SG for Jubilee. That was in 2016, 2017. Then right now, not now, but former for now the UDA Party, the ruling party. What is that unique leadership quality you can say that Veronica Maina has when it comes to political parties' leadership?
I think, first of all, my background in legal, it adds a little bit of advantage, because it's easy for me to pick up the framework, the ecosystem, the legal ecosystem for the political parties. But that does not mean someone who is not a lawyer cannot do it. They can do it. It's just that it eases my work in terms of understanding, like when the IEBC requires things to be done in a certain way, or register of political parties, it's way easier. That helps. And then I also believe in dedicating time to a cause you've given yourself to. And I don't like to double deal. If I'm in something, I will work on it. If I don't want to do it, I am quick to say I don't want to engage in that. And I think also, because I'm a Christian, I'm a born again, my principles are very set on certain matters. You know, one of the things that can bring down a political party very quickly is elements of trust. When people think you're a traitor, when people think you can't be trusted, that can bring down that political capital, the trust capital can go down. So for me, it's maybe I would say it's the determination to make it work, and I don't like to fail. So when we took up the task, and we had the challenge of now getting a membership from across the 47 counties, and we came up with the framework of registering members. I knew that you'll never succeed unless you work with other people. If you don't do teamwork, focus, hard work, dedication, being willing to make your hands dirty. I have never sent a team to the field. In Kiambaa, I was there in the field. Some people don't think it's a good style of management. I couldn't be in the field later now when it was a general election. For obvious reasons, we had to be a point where we are now managing from a central position. But you got to be present with your teams, understand the task, so that they also respect you as a leader. If you don't understand the task you're giving people to do, getting respect from those groups will be very difficult. So you understand your task, you are willing to sacrifice your time and effort on it. I actually sacrificed. I left, during that time I was doing that, I left my law firm, I sacrificed. My family paid a heavy price in terms of time. They had to let me go. I think there are many days we slept in the office working. You wake up, you take a shower, you come back. Many days. People only saw bombers. Let me say this. There are many days we did not sleep. We were working at the party and with many people, not just me. And I must also say, strong people don't bring you down. If you have strong members of your team, they don't bring you down. They can only make you look beautiful in your task. You see some leadership style, some people fear strong people. That's a mistake. Seeing what are you achieving? Like we had strategy for membership recruitment. And we worked with our teams. We had a prayer meeting every week with our county coordinators. We had meetings every week, whether on Zoom or physical. We had meetings and we developed close friendship, network, and dependability. And when your team members are in trouble, don't take off. If your team member is sick, my friend, you better find out why they are coughing. That's the day you give them Panadol. Because you may not even have enough to give them. But the fact that you empathize with that team member, you can walk the journey with them, it will bring more energy to that team member. So you must make sure your teams are very motivated, they're hardworking. Of course, there are many people a number of people who had a problem with my style of working, because I want a person who can deliver. And then when they can't deliver, it's difficult because it's a time-bound activity. So you must be able to deliver within time, focus, dedicated, and we can see there is effort in the task. If you're producing an article, do a good one, don't do a bad one, because you have the options of doing good and bad. And you can use even the team members around you to make sure that article is good. So those little factors that you put together. But thank you for the honor, even the compliments you have given me. I appreciate that.
So, Senator, UDA Party, tomorrow we are launching the Women Congress. What do you think should be done to have more women in leadership? But I'd like you also to put it together, because we are wrapping it up. You encourage that lady, the young Veronica, who is in Kiambu, in Kakamega, in Mombasa. What is that one thing that you tell her, this is the way to go? It doesn't come on a silver platter.
Yes. First of all, work with the people around you who are in the same. Get a mentor. Somebody you think can mentor you in your area, in the ward. Participate in a positive way. Show your leadership skills where God has given you a platform. Because if you can't show that leadership skill within your community, how will people know that you can actually gather 10 people somewhere? Gather people, be part of the activity that is happening, and be part of change. One of the easiest way to tell people that I can do something positive. I know of a lady in my neighborhood where I live. She's very clear about keeping the environment clean and green. And we all know in our group neighborhood association watch, we all know that Grace loves to make sure that there is no litter around. We already know if we were looking for an environmental officer, would we need to struggle to know Grace is one? So do that which you are dreaming in your mind, but which you haven't actualized. Take a step and actualize. And then be very clear in your mind what you are looking for and speak it out. Let the people around you, at least tell your mom, tell the people around you, and don't tell the dream killers. There is a dream killer or a dream snatcher. A dream snatcher is the one who hears, oh, Ati, she wanted to do what? She's opening a kebab shop and she's opening on this road. I'm going to snatch that space. Be careful who you share that dream with until it's very mature. So walk around people who will encourage. There is always someone who will propel you to fulfill what you have in your mind to fulfill. There's another one who will pull you down. Choose the person you associate with. Go for the one that you think is a mentor and who can push. And then plan. If, for instance, you are going for 2027, what is your game plan now? Don't wait until it's 2 months towards 2027. Elections are cycles. It's a whole cycle. It's a 5-year cycle. You should already be seeing what am I planning to go for and what strategy do I take? Which team members do I need? If there is financing needed, how am I going to do this financing? What is my game plan on the financing? Take all the components and start planning them. Good planning will deliver your dream. Poor planning or poor execution will almost fail you in your dream. So I would say be courageous, speak out, put your dream in paper, go for it, tell the people around you so they know how to support you, and then associate with where those visions can be seen, how you bring them out, plan the finances, and then don't be afraid. When you hear it's the Congress or a meeting which is open, you're able to attend. If you need to support, and don't shy away from taking a side. You see, one of the ways people can fail to have position, if we shied away from taking sides. At the point when we broke away from Jubilee Party, I had to make a very conscious decision that this is a plan that can work and I'm willing to take a risk. So the question I would ask, are you willing to take a risk? Can you take a risk? I took a risk. I said I will support UDA. Ile ikue tu. I will support UDA. And when you decide to now do the support, please do 100%. Don't do 20%. Do 100% or 120% because you are more likely to succeed if you are exerting yourself than not exerting yourself.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Yeah, maybe as we wrap up, what next for Mheshimiwa Veronica? What next? What's your vision?
I'm at Senate right now. I've been doing a lot of activity in Murang'a County. So I'm still thinking about 2027, but with a very strong focus on Murang'a County. But I'm still going through, I cannot speak my mind before it's fully processed. And my point today is, let's all deliver for Kenya Kwanza government. So when I go to Murang'a, I want people to see the hope we sold to the people. And I also go to other counties. I was in Meru County the other day to support my friend who was doing an endowment fund. And thank you all who gave me support in that event, because I worked on a national platform, so I have many friends across different counties. So you'll find me in several counties doing different things. But I believe right now it's actually more time to work for the people. So if people can perceive Kenya Kwanza or the people associated with Kenya Kwanza as bringing hope, bringing development, that's what I'm doing for the time being. But I come from Murang'a County, so I do a lot of activity. I have helped youths to do some IT skills so they can do coding, kids who've never touched computer, supported women in marketplaces to achieve IT skills so they can take their businesses online and be able to sell more than they are selling on a normal market day. They can sell them on internet or on social media platforms. So I'm doing those initiatives, and I'm a big believer in education, because education is an equalizer for all. So you'll find I'm supporting schools. I can be supporting schools or doing mentorship for children to become, the youths to become, and to have confidence that all will go well. And I think there is great potential for our youths. Kenya generates some of the best and highly skilled labor. So we even have an opportunity in the region and internationally to send our labor skills, to sell our labor skills to the market. You'll be surprised that we have Kenyans working for Airbus, we have Kenyans working for Boeing, we have Kenyans working for NASA, and I don't mean the political formulation, I mean the NASA, the one of astronomy and those ones, hizo satellites. We have Kenyans working in all manner of sectors. When you travel, you use even other airlines like Emirates, Qatar, you find Kenyans there. Kenyans are working across the board. So I think the youths, we must open our minds on what opportunities are we looking for, so that we also don't conscript ourselves around my MCE has to bring for me a job. Because the biggest, the largest number of texts I get on my phone is, Mheshimiwa nitafutie a job. You know, and there are few opportunities, but look for entrepreneurial activity around you that can turn your ideas into money. That also would help you to earn an income as a youth.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
The conversation has been very insightful,
yes,
and you are doing a marvelous job.
Thank you.
Here at the Senate.
Thank you.
And we pray for God's blessing upon you, and
yes,
that you may be able to execute everything that you do perfectly.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
And I'm also grateful. Thank you. I'm happy to see the communication team that's at the UDA. And I believe our party is going places and continue doing the work that you're doing. And God will open more doors for you as you continue to serve. Only remember, do your very, very, very best in that